Cloud computing is one of the most sought of the skilled and has come to the and continue of the fundamental elements in every organizations in IT infrastructures. So before beginning with these sessions, I'll need to introduce our trainer, Mr. Abdul, who has having a hands-off experience in Microsoft Azure and cloud computing as well. So I'll just pass on to Abdul so that he can start with his introduction and take the webinar for the trainer. So Abdul, over to you. You can just start the webinar and hope it goes well.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Is my screen is visible to all, guys? Can you just acknowledge, please? All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. So, welcome to the webinar on Azure and the AWS completely on the cloud platform. So, I'm Abdul, and today we'll be taking up towards the cloud, right, to make sense about the cloud and the market that we have for the cloud environment. So, I'm quickly going up with the deck here to start with, right, and once again, get ready for the cloud environment, right, towards the cloud computing. So here I'm Abdul, I'm a Microsoft MVP on Azure, and I'm a C# corner, most valuable professional, and leading up the Coimbatore chapter as well. So that's about me, and let me not waste the time, let me quickly get into the agenda that we have for today. So here we are about to set an agenda discussing about the carrier services that we have in the Magna Infotech. And we have the trainings which are offered mostly on the cloud computing, speaking from the basics and up to the top level of environment, which includes about the machine learning, Internet of Things. You have deep learning, cognitive services. You also have like compute, you have containers, virtual machines, all these things. So we will be making sense about the cloud computing basics on this training. And we will also go up speaking about the on-premise versus the cloud environment, the difference between the on-premise and the cloud environment that you have. We will also make sense about the service models, the different service models like your IaaS, your PaaS, your SaaS that you have. And furthermore, we will be discussing about the deployment models, which is about to be on the public cloud, private cloud, and the hybrid cloud environment that we have. Furthermore, we have the cloud features. We will be discussing about why to step into the cloud environment, the advantages that you have in the cloud environment as such, and the key difference that you have between the on-premise environment and the cloud environment. Furthermore, here is about a demo that we will be having on the cloud to make sense about the AWS portal and how to sign up for a free trial on the AWS account. So those things will be available on the AWS environment. So with this key introduction, I just want you guys to take into the cloud computing basics. The cloud computing basics is all about like, you don't need to buy a server, you don't need to invest on anything called as a hardware. There's no setup cost which is involved on the hardware environment, and you will be able to take it forward with an environment which is said to be as pay as you go. You're not going to invest on anything, you're not going to buy any sort of software, you're just going to pay the license that you have. You'll pay for the license and you're going to take it forward, speaking about like how I need to provision the compute, how I need to provision the container, how I need to take it forward towards the environment which is said to be for the containers or for the virtual machines, storage, right? So that's where we step towards something called as a cloud computing. Let's say that you need to host your website, right? Let's take a simple scenario that I have a ASP.NET application or I have a Java application something, and I need to host this website towards the environment where we need the cloud computing to be hosted across with the server space. Okay, you take the server space, and you will be saying that I need your server space to be hosted across with the certain amount of compute units that you have. Okay, so the .NET application could have, say for example, it will be a virtual compute with 0.75 GB of RAM if it's a blog, or if it's going to be like a graphics compute that you need, you might say that it needs like 10 GB of RAM or 12 GB of RAM, something like that. So in those cases, we will be stepping towards something called as a cloud computing. Cloud computing is that you don't need to worry about high traffic. You don't need to worry about the bandwidth that's going to be raised. You don't need to buy any sort of servers for that. You can spin up at any time that you need. So the scalability is said to be like the best achievement that you can come across. You can also monitor, you can manage the servers that you have, so that helps you with the part saying that you can either go up with the monitoring, you can maintain the servers, and in case if something goes down, right, Microsoft can take it forward with themselves. You don't need to worry about it. Or it can be said for AWS as well. The Amazon can also take it forward, saying that we will be managing the hosting environment, and even if the data center goes down, they come up with something called as DR, where the secondary data center region will provide the data access for you. So that's about monitoring and maintaining the servers. The disadvantage here is that if you consider the cost, then the first time setup cost is said to be more expensive that you have in the cloud environment. Let's say it also makes a disadvantage, saying that the investment which you did in the on-premise environment, on buying the servers, on buying the license, right, all these things are said to be the disadvantage that you have in the cloud. But think about the various CSPs that you have, right? Let's take about Microsoft Azure even. You can find something like a license cost. Even AWS supports, when you speak about the reserved size capacity with a reserved instance for a particular period of time, then you get a cost cut off over there. You furthermore go with troubleshooting problem. Okay, you need to fix towards your business goals, and you need to know whether that particular integration component is supported by the cloud service provider or not. The handful of rockstar cloud service provider are like Amazon Web Services, you have Google Cloud Platform, you have Azure, okay? So you need to check with them regarding the integration support that they provide. And since the traffic is varying, right, your servers should be idle, and to fix this, you can come across saying that I will come up with a scalability that can work on the monitoring as such, right? You can set up auto scaling feature over there. Now here is the reason about why we move towards cloud. Any questions until this about cloud computing before stepping on to that? Any questions on cloud computing? Oh, sure, I will. We just have 1 hour of time, and I need to stick towards these things. Okay, but yes, I'm sorry, I will go slowly. Okay, and if you need any sort of clarifications needed, you can just let me know. Okay. Yes, go ahead. What's your question? We can't unmute our audio. No, you can post your questions on the chat panel, please. In case if you have any questions, you can just put it on the chat. Cloud is like we get extra storage from iCloud. No, not exactly. iCloud, all these things are said to be the commercial that you get, right? When you buy an iPhone or you get a 5 GB of storage and you would say that I need an extra compute, then you will configure more. That's altogether a different story, but here it's not like that. It's said to be like you host your environment, right? You host your environment speaking about I need my .NET application to run there, or I need my mobile application to run there as such. So there we go for something called as cloud. Okay. What about AWS? AWS is said to be from Amazon. Okay. So this guy is something called as Amazon Web Service, who provides you the support of public cloud. You can create storage, you can create a DevOps environment, you can put up your .NET application. Okay. So for that we will stick towards AWS. Difference between an on-premise server and cloud server. When you say on-premise, you're going to buy the server. Okay, that's about the on-premise. Whereas when you say cloud, right, you're going to stick towards the CSP. That's it. You're not going to invest on buying any sort of tools or softwares over there. Which cloud is most widely used and booming now? The cloud environment which is most probably used today is AWS and Microsoft Azure. Excuse me guys, let me stick on to the slides, right? As of now, this should be fine. I will stick towards the slide. Okay, your questions, I really appreciate your questions, but please make sure that your questions will be based on the slides which we cover. Okay, the reason is that I need to make sure that I'll be helping you to make sense what is AWS, what is Azure, okay, before we get the 1 hour of session to be completed as such, right? I'll also stick to your questions, which will be towards your difference between Azure, AWS, your cloud opportunities, all these things. But let's get the topics. Let's get first understand that what AWS is, what cloud is, right? All right. Now, here we have the cloud. Okay, let's say that you need to share the files. You have lots of data like YouTube. Okay, you have Google, right? You have plenty many data and you need to screw up saying that I'll just call for the data which you need. In that case, you will go for cloud. You don't need to buy any sort of hard drives, right? You can stick towards the cloud environment on hosting your data over the cloud. So you don't need to run out of the hard drive spaces over here. And the cloud is going to be more into huge space that you have online. Please don't get confused that it's only about storage as such. This is not just about storage. It's about even hosting your application. Your application can be a mobile app, it can be a web application that you have, it can be a .NET application, okay, anything that you have. And it's also related towards services like your facial recognition that you do. We use a service like artificial intelligence service. Okay, so for those things you can do it across. Your cloud computing is going to be the collection of servers. We come across with something called as a data center region. So the data center region will help you to make sense about where you can host your cloud environment and what are the services you're going to use it towards your cloud environment as such. You do have something called as orchestration. Orchestration can be like Hyper-V. You have service like Hyper-V that you can use it across. You can say that you will be using Hyper-V and you will come across with virtualizing your VM. Okay, so that's about the Hyper-V that we have. You don't need to spin up a server machine. Okay, so that's Hyper-V. Furthermore, you also have the definition for cloud computing here. Cloud is about storing the data, and you also have the applications. Okay, you can store your data, you can host your applications, you can take it up towards the remote servers. You can also process the data or the applications which are available from the servers. Let's say that I need to fetch a video from YouTube, or I need to host a video towards YouTube. I need to make sure that the data is always available to my customer as such. You should have seen something called as trending, right? You need all these things, and there we go for something called as cloud computing. You can access the data, and the data will be also available over the internet. The major difference that you have between the on-premise environment and the cloud computing environment is that in your on-premise, you're going to invest a lot on the cost. You need to have something called as a network admin. The network admin will take care of the things that you need to run, the things that you need to take care of when there's said to be a socket failure. You also need to ensure that your application will be always available to the customer as such. Okay, so those things are there. You need to take up about the electricity facility, the disaster that you have, recovery model for the disaster. Okay, so those things are said to be a problem when you speak about the on-premise environment. Whereas in your cloud computing, it's like rented one. You're going to invest on what you have. That's it, right? You're just going to pay for the data that you have. You don't need to worry about the licensing cost as well. Let's say that you need to upgrade towards the next server. You need to upgrade towards the next sort of hardware that you have. You can just do the scalability. And by any chance or any time, if you feel that you no need to stick towards the cloud environment as such, then you can walk out. You can just say that I'll switch over from Alibaba to AWS. I can switch from Azure to AWS, right? So you can do those things just at the ease of moment. When you speak about the security features, you need to take care about the firewall. You need to take care about the networking protocols. So that's said to be a factor in your on-premise environment. Whereas in cloud computing, you don't need to worry about the networking, right? It's by default encrypted. Your data is encrypted. Your SQL database or any database that you're going to spin up across, or let's say even a PostgreSQL or a NoSQL that you come across, it's going to be encrypted on its own. We are not going to do any sort of encryption. By default, there will be encryption. And at top of it, if you speak about UTF-8 or something, then you can achieve it. Okay? Implementation takes a long time. Let's say that you need to set up a server machine, then it might take a long time when you speak it at the on-premise environment. Whereas when you speak on the cloud computing environment, the cloud is not going to take as much as time that you need across. Okay, so that's it to be on the cloud. You can just spin up for VM, for server, we will call it as a EC2. The EC2 instance, the elastic compute that you have over the cloud can be spinned up within a minute, or it might take a maximum of 2 minutes for you to spin up a machine. You can also set up things like IaaS towards your machine over there. Customization is said to be a hard factor. Like you cannot say that you will go up with the upgrade of your OS, or you cannot go up saying that you will stick towards a different database, something like that. Okay, whereas those things are supported by your cloud environment that you have. And it's going to be more into CI and CD. You will come up with a list. You will come up with a, excuse me guys, let me have some water, just give me a moment. Alright, thank you. So here in this cloud environment, you will come up with more options which speaks about CI and CD. So you can achieve your continuous integration, you can achieve your continuous delivery on the cloud environment just by using Azure DevOps environment. So the DevOps will help you to achieve more on the consistency level, the stability that you have, the customization layer, etc. Here are the different cloud service models that we have. You have something called as the cloud service model depends on what sort of service you're going to deploy. Just before going to this, I want to make sense whether you have any questions as such. Oh my goodness. Right, let me stick towards question, guys. Here there are plenty more things. Okay, let me fix to your questions first and then we will take it forward. Okay, just give me a moment. What is the difference between Azure and AWS? Okay, see, Azure is from Microsoft. Both of these guys are from AWS environment. Okay, you have Azure, you have AWS. These guys, one is from Microsoft and the other one is from Amazon. But the core point here is that Azure supports you by native for the Microsoft platforms. They go up with your ASP.NET, they go up with your SQL database, okay, all these things. Whereas your AWS is said to be on the open source platforms that you have. There's not much difference that you have, but the difference is going to be about the data center regions that's available. Before you stick towards a cloud service provider, you need to check whether the cloud service provider is feasible for you on a data center region of your customer location as such. So that's going to be where you are going to make sense across. Okay. No sound. Sound is not clear. Not able. Okay, go a little bit slow. Alright guys, I'll be slow towards my bottom. Okay, I'm really sorry. I just need to ensure that you guys will let know about the different service models as such, because IaaS, PaaS and SaaS is the core topic that we need. Okay. Hold on, please hold your chat. I will fix the questions and then I will come back to the rest of the questions. Echoing in voice. Cloud orchestration is the use of programming technology to manage the interconnections and interactions among web. That's right, yes. Orchestration is said to be a layer which virtualizes, which virtualizes the image that you have from the marketplace towards your hardware. And what is the full form of EC2? EC2 is Elastic, Compute Cloud that you have. It's for VM. In AWS, we call it as EC2. How come cloud is less flexible? No, it's not that cloud is less flexible. Cloud is easily flexible compared to the on-premise environment. Please check the slide which we shared, right? Flexibility is said to be less on the on-premise environment, and in cloud you have more amount of flexibility. Okay, the reason is due to the customization of the application tools that we have. Yeah, I repeat it, it's gonna be flexibility is based on the tools that you use. Anytime you can say that I'll switch towards a NoSQL from a SQL database, right? So that's possible when you speak about cloud, whereas that's not the same factor when you speak about the on-premise environment. Who is using AWS and who is using Microsoft Azure? Oh, AWS, okay, you can say that you have guys like Deloitte who are stick towards AWS, and they also have the few environments which is running on Azure Cloud. People like Boeing and all these guys, people more into IoT automation, these people will be using your cloud environment on Azure. There's no video which is shared here, okay, so please hold on. Alright, so here we go. The cloud service model comes up with three major components as IaaS, PaaS and SaaS. Your SaaS is where the software will be ready available. You're just going to move over there and you will consume the application layer towards it. Let's say for example you have Gmail, right? You can send the email, you can read the mails that you have, so that's where we go for software as a service. SaaS doesn't need of any applications that has to be installed on your environment as such. You don't need to install any software. So there we go with the SaaS. And the end customers like us, let's say Outlook, let's say Gmail, right? We will be using SaaS applications. And furthermore, here are the advantages that you have in the SaaS. It's accessible from any platform, just like a browser. The webinar tool that we are using, right, that's a SaaS. Whereas it's not available for portability. You cannot port the application. The advantage that you have for the SaaS is also about the collaborative working that you can do. The webinar, right, we are joining together to work on. You have Visual Studio as a team services. You have Visual Studio Online. Those things will help you out when you speak about the SaaS. Again, it has to be compatible, it has to be supportive for the cloud environment, okay, with the browser. And you also have a vendor who provides most software tools that we have, okay, and it allows you to collaborate from the multiple Active Directory environment, okay. So that's about the multi-tenancy that you have. Next is your PaaS. PaaS is that a platform is ready, available, and you will stick towards a PaaS, okay, when you need to develop an application. I hope you guys should have worked with something called as WordPress. WordPress will allow you to consume your application. You can develop your own application using the platform that's ready available. There's a backend like a Windows server, or there's going to be a backend which is like a Linux server that consumes the development with a server orchestration. The platform also comes up with the OS. Okay, the OS is going to be like Windows server or Linux server. It's going to run at the backend. You also have the database like SQL, you have Oracle, okay. So all these things can be there over the PaaS platform. By any time you can just build, you can compile and you can run the program over the PaaS services. The users can go here, they can manage the data and the applications that they have here. PaaS is most commonly used by the developers. I told you web application development, right? You can go with a WordPress and you can develop your application. So there we use the PaaS service. Here are the advantages and the disadvantages that we have in the PaaS. PaaS is said to be much less in cost compared to IaaS. Okay, but you don't have the option. We have few more things like you cannot customize networking options. Okay, you cannot come across speaking about the provider's language. You need to stick towards like ASP.NET, or you need to stick towards like the PHP application that is supported by default. Okay, so that's about the cons. The PaaS will help you to go up with unsorted limit of development works which is said to be available only within the marketplace. You cannot say that you will integrate your own NuGet package on the platform as a service. The PaaS also supports you for easy deployment, okay, for the web applications. The PaaS is available with both the public cloud deployment and also the private cloud deployment. The next is said to be IaaS, infrastructure as service. IaaS is about the compute architecture. You are going to take care of the entire thing. Microsoft or Amazon is going to work on only the phase where we will come across saying that I have the environment and I will stick towards the environment on taking care of the application layer that's running. Let's say that you're going to have a Windows Server 2019 where you're going to host the ASP.NET application, or you're going to install, you're going to put up a PHP application on a Linux machine, something like that. You need to take care of the VNet then. You have to create the VNet. You need to say what sort of address can be allowed or what sort of address can be terminated as such. You also need to say that the addressing part or the IP whitelisting and the subnet with the VNet and everything will be managed by you. You need to give the CIDR addressing over there. It's gonna use as a middleware. You will be hosting your application on the cloud using a middleware like Hyper-V or using containers, etc. The major part where IaaS is used is by the infra guys. I mean the developers who are going to be on ARM platform or who are going to be on a cloud formation, right? So they will be using this. They can go up with a core service saying that we will be developing the infrastructure and that will be consumed by the developers. Okay, so there we go with the IaaS environment. The advantage that you have in the IaaS is that it provides the infrastructure for you. Okay, you're going to have the infrastructure and you're going to put up the VNet, the OS that you need, okay, and the entire things. You have the security issues where you need to take care about the inbound and the outbound addressing, okay. You also have the scalability. You can provide enhanced scalability. You can scale from one size towards the other when you use the IaaS, whereas that's not the part when you speak about the service delays that you have. It's more flexible. You can integrate any components so that it's more flexible, but you might be facing network delays in case if the internet is not good. So that's about the IaaS that we have. I have just given a representation over here which speaks about what are the things that you need to take care and what the CSP can take care of such. When we say about IaaS, you need to mention the OS, you need to mention whether it's going to use Hyper-V or containers like Docker, Swarm, Kubernetes, etc. And rest things will be taken care by Microsoft or by Amazon. You need to give up the data as well, your web application data which has to be hosted. Once when you give up all these things, your network and everything, it will be managed by the vendor, that's your CSP, to take care of the networking security, to take care of the virtualization towards all hardwares, to take care of the storage where the data should be stored across, to take care of the server administration and the logs. When you say about the PaaS, right, again I would like to indicate that the example for IaaS can be like Flipkart. Take Flipkart, take Amazon, right, all these guys are going to work with IaaS. And for the PaaS, it's going to be like, you would be having the application and you will also have the data, okay. So those things will be given by you. You're going to drag and drop the things, you will put up your HTML file, that's it. Managing this application will be taken care by Amazon or it will be taken care by Microsoft. Okay, so that's about your PaaS. The rest factor that you have is said to be on the SaaS. The SaaS is going to be a point where we say that everything will be given by the CSP, everything will be provided by the CSP to develop the software or to develop the tools, and we are just going to be the user who are going to consume the software. Example for SaaS is again your WordPress. Or you can say that when I say WordPress, you are going to develop a web application and you're going to just consume the application. Okay, don't consider plugins. Or take a best example of Gmail or Calendar. Okay, so that's about your SaaS. Any questions until this? Does the AWS and Azure take care of firewall and encryption when client deploys a cloud? Yes, by default, both of these guys are going to take care of about the firewall. Example about PaaS on AWS. Your storage is said to be a PaaS service that you have. Which type is better? The type that you need to deploy can depend on what sort of application that you're going to host it across. Okay. Office 365 is SaaS or PaaS. Office 365 is said to be a SaaS service that we have. Who can learn developer architect? Office 365. And sorry, I'm not getting this question. What do you mean by who can learn developer architect admin? Who can learn developers about PaaS? No, to whom it's useful. Who can learn developer? Who can learn? Hey, see, this is gonna be more about like what's gonna be the service that you're going to use across. Okay, and I would say that you need to understand all the three sort of concepts that we have: the IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS that we have. OpenStack Cloud is again the cloud environment that you have at your own premise. Okay, you're not going to rely on the any third parties that you have as such. Okay, so you're going to have it at your own premise. That's where we go with the open source, with OpenStack. Azure DevOps is a developer environment. Okay, you can do all your developing, your applications. You can host your applications. You can do CI/CD, all these things just over the cloud. You don't need to worry about any tools. So there we go with Azure DevOps. Any other questions? Well, okay. So let's take it forward. Here we have the different cloud deployment models. You have something called as public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Since you guys have a few questions, right, I'll stick towards the explanation with an example so that you can make sense more. See, public cloud is said to be the cloud environment which is hosted with a data center. It's given by a third party like Microsoft or by Amazon. I hope you guys should be working on the data centers that are also available on your own premise environment. That's said to be a private cloud, because you don't allow the third parties, you don't allow any third parties who can just pay and they can host their data as such, right? Whereas Microsoft or Amazon is not like that. You need to pay for your usage. You can host your application just by paying over there. That's about the public cloud. The example for public cloud is Amazon or Microsoft Azure. Private cloud is nothing but you are going to host your own application on your own environment. Take Visa cards. Visa cards and MasterCards will not share the data towards any third party like Uber Eats or towards Swiggy, someone like that. In case if they need to make any sort of payment, they have to come up with a connectivity called as hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is a combination of both public cloud and the private cloud. Public cloud is said to be from a data center which is available at some global region, and private cloud is said to be the one which is available at the global location, the data center region, which is said to be at the client premise. Okay. Now hybrid cloud will be using the combination of both your public cloud and the private cloud. So this will take care of the things. Okay, well, let's take up an example, right? Let's say I am going to order something on Amazon. I can select the product, I can see the list of options that are available, the menu that's available, right? All these things. So until that, it's said to be on the public cloud environment. When I say that I have selected a product and I need to make a payment for that particular product as such, then we will move towards the private cloud, which is nothing but the payment gateway that we have for the Visa cards and the MasterCards. No Visa cards or MasterCard guys are ready to share the data towards a public cloud environment. They have their own data centers, they maintain it at a private cloud. And when you speak about Swiggy or when you speak about Amazon, when you order the product and when you try to make the payment, your data will move, your payment gateway you should have seen, it moves from your Amazon.in or Amazon.com towards a third party. Okay, like the payment gateway of your Visa cards and MasterCards that you have. So that's about the hybrid cloud. Any questions on this? Kindly give one or okay, wait. Is PaaS similar to VM? No, it's PaaS, right? It's not similar to VM. Only your web is similar to your PaaS, your web development. VM is something which is about infrastructure because you will take care of the networking components. Kindly give one or two examples for hybrid cloud. Your Uber Eats, right? Your Amazon, any e-commerce store where you're going to speak about the transaction that happens between a public cloud and private cloud, right? Like Visa cards and MasterCards, all these things, they are supposed to be your hybrid cloud. Private is said to be on-premise. Okay, private is the data center that you have at your own premise, and hybrid is the combination of both yours and the globally available one. Configuring the hybrid cloud can be done using your services like VPN gateway. You have something called virtual private network gateway, and that gateway will help you to connect between the on-premise environment and the cloud environment. A bank website will be using, yes, 100%. A bank website, until the information that they display about the loan and all these things, that's said to be on the public cloud. And when you're logging towards your net banking, then it's said to be a private cloud. Yeah, the last person guessed regarding Azure DevOps. Your explanation is right. Guys, please make sense. When I stick towards questions, right, on your chat panel, you will not be able to see the video, okay? Because it's a chat panel and it will just show you a blank screen. Can I use hybrid cloud on AWS? Yes, you can. You have the option of hybrid with VPN. Okay, so you can do that. Any other questions? No, I have no data center. If you don't have any data center, or if you don't have your own server machine, then you would not be able to do it across. You will not be able to establish a hybrid cloud environment. Example for public-private cloud. Example for a public cloud is nothing but your Amazon or your Microsoft Azure, okay? Example for a private cloud is the on-premise environment is called as hybrid cloud here, okay? Alright, so here are the few best cloud service providers that we have in the market. You have Azure, you have DigitalOcean, you have IBM Cloud Bluemix, you have Amazon, you also have GCP, Alibaba, all these guys. Cloud computing is said to be a best option as we discussed before. When you speak about the pricing, or let's say the primary data center goes down, something like that, then you can recover the data from the secondary data center region, okay? So for those factors, this is said to be a much concerned solution. The pricing comes up with two factors. One is free tier. Free tier on, especially on AWS, is available for 1 year of time, and in Azure it supports for 1 month of time, okay, for free trial. And pay as you go is that when you go for enterprise, right, you can just pay as you use it. You will get a monthly summary and you can pay as per that. So that's about pay as you go. There's nothing called as a upfront cost. You no need to invest, you no need to pay anything which is said to be in the advance that you're going to make it as such, okay, when you speak about the cloud environment. Whereas again, your on-premise is not like that, right? You need to pay for it. You will also come up with a pricing calculator which can give you the estimate saying that you have for consumption. The security factors are said to be much more concerned when you speak about cloud. The reason is, by default, there's an encryption that's going to happen, and AWS or Azure is going to take care of these security factors. Okay. DR is about the tools that we come across. You have many tools, like you have CloudWatch, which can do the monitoring. You can do DR with disaster recovery. You can recover the data from the primary data center region. In case if it goes down, you can recover it. You can keep the data to be available on the secondary data center region. So here you will go up with, hold on. Can I put all my server and data center and backup on cloud? Is it hybrid? Can I put all my server and data center and backup? Backup or backend, which you mean? Guess. Backup. No, that's not said to be hybrid cloud. Let's say that you have an application. Okay, you use Amazon.in. You have the electronics, automobiles, all these things, right? That's a public cloud where it is hosted across. When you say that I need to log into it, your Amazon wallet, and you need to make some payment, then it's said to be at the on-prem environment. The data, excuse me, the data that is available is said to be at the on-premise environment, and that's supposed to be your hybrid cloud gateway. The question about this individuals have free link. Okay, I would request the my host to help you guys on that. Okay, because I'm not the right guy to answer that. How does hybrid cloud work? Hybrid cloud works with something called as a VPN. Okay, you have the virtual private network, and it works with the connectivity between the on-premise and the cloud. So it works using VPN. Bank server is private or public cloud. Bank server are said to be a private cloud. Are all the cloud computing services ISO certified? Most probably, right? I'm sure about Amazon, GCP, Alibaba, IBM, Azure, all these guys. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? So if you want to check with the demo, if you want to work with some demo on the AWS part, you can just go up with aws.amazon.com. You can find the document. Right, you can find the documentation here. And if you want to start with a free trial, you can just go up, you can say that I need a free trial over here. Click on sign in to the console, and you can just sign in over there. You can take it forward there. Right, so you can just sign in over there. And speaking about Azure, you can go with portal.azure.com. Okay. This is your Azure portal that you have. Okay, so you can find the services like VM and everything. The same over here for Amazon. You can go up here, you can click on the documentation to make sense across here. Does programmer need to concern about cloud? 100% programmers need to know about the cloud computing platform. Which one is best cloud nowadays in this? Both Azure and AWS has a good market. They have an equal amount of share. So both of them are running good now. Any other questions? Public folder access will be given in on-premise server or Outlook server. Public folder access. It's not on-premise. It is said to be on your. See, it's a public cloud that you come across. OneDrive. I hope you're asking about the OneDrive that you have. So is it yearly license fees? You can also do that. You can buy it as a reserved instance for 2 years or 3 years, something like that. Or you can even pay it as a monthly as you go. Now most of the company runs towards Azure AWS. Yes, you're right. The public folder is not said to be a, I mean it's not on cloud. Which one you're speaking about? This, what is that public cloud, public folder? Where you're saying that? When you put it on your OneDrive and you share it towards a public, then it is said to be a public cloud that you have. But whereas when you speak about a storage, then it's said to be again a public cloud related to Amazon or related to Azure. And between, I'm not sharing any screen. To become Azure developer, which things are important to learn? You need to learn the complete developer track, which is AZ203 on Azure. Okay, and furthermore, you also need to know about the things like .NET, okay, ARM template to make sense on Azure. And just saying about the developer environment, okay. Any other questions? Yeah, all right. Web developers should know Python language. It's not mandatory that you need to know Python language as such. You can stick to it. If you want to be a web developer, you can stick towards any platform that you need. AWS for admin only. No, it's not just related to admin, it's also related to the developers. Yeah, you're right. It can be Java, it can be ASP.NET, anything. It depends. For shared network access, we need to give access on Outlook server or on Onpremise server. Okay, for that you need to give access on the Outlook server. Alright guys, any other questions? Well, okay. What are the things? No, we are done with the slides. You can just let me know if you have any questions. What are the things to be done in on-premise server? You need to put up your networking. You have the LAN cable. You need to put up the networking. You need to buy the hard drive. You need to put up your storage, right? You need to put up the RAM and everything where you have a complete data center set up over there. Best website to get tutorial for cloud basis information. I would recommend you to stick towards the native cloud guys like Amazon or Azure. You can just stick towards their own websites. Who can learn cloud? Only administrator or developers. Both of them are recommended to learn nowadays. Hey, come on, you're welcome. What is Office 365 server? What are things to be done over there? Office 365 server is completely a SaaS platform. You can allow your tenants on the Active Directory part, okay, to get the control, to get the access over there for the mailboxes, for the mail exchange, etc. I would say that both of them are equally safe. Okay, it's not like no data center environment has ever gone with a leakage as such. There's no difference between a virtualization and cloud computing. Virtualization is said to be a component that you have, okay, on the cloud computing part. And there you have the link, okay, where you can just let to know about the cloud details. And the recording will also be shared, it seems. Excuse me. Networking guy, no need to be a developer. You no need to worry about the coding there. Well, guys, thanks then. Any other questions? Will you provide job? I'm sorry, I'm not the right guy to answer that. I'm AWS SysOps admin. DevOps is required for me. Okay, sounds good. Yes, if you're a SysOps admin, then you need DevOps. Which is the good institute for AWS? Okay, you can stick towards the Magna. You have been given with a link called mics.magna.in. Just stick towards that. Can we connect socially? Yes, you can follow us on the Twitter part. Yes, Magna provides courses. You're right. Yes. The instructors are Microsoft certified trainers, okay, AWS community heroes who will be taking up the courses. Hi. Yep, we are almost done. We are just going to pack up now. Yeah, you're good to go. It's my pleasure here. Thank you. Are there any companies required if you use nothing as such. No, nothing as such. Any other questions? Alright guys, thank you very much. Thanks for your time. So please keep in touch over the website that was provided. You can look for the recording, okay, and you can let us know if you have any questions as well. And for the courses which are related to Azure or AWS, please reach out to Magna, okay. And yeah, furthermore, you will be getting the recording as well. Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah, thank you guys. Bye bye.